A lot of people come to me and they want to be an expert stock investor, or they want to be an expert real estate investor, or they want to get their business to the next level. But what I tell my clients and prospective clients is the mindset piece is critical. What I do differently is to say affirmations that are serving you, because if you don't believe it, this is what's happening. You're maybe saying something and then you're calling BS on yourself.
When people hear the word affirmations, sometimes they, and I do it too, it's like, I believe in it. And there's always the skeptic that comes in to go, I don't know. But what you teach and what we both know is you have to do something. You have to invest. You have to take action.
When you're in the flow and you're doing the visualizations and the meditation, you want to take the action because it's inspired action.
Good morning, my friend Joel Salomon. How are you?
I am great, and I am so grateful and honored to be with you here today. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and thank you for joining the Minding Your Minutes podcast. And you and I have a kind of a long history of knowing each other, relatively long, and a pretty short history of working together. And so I'll let you fill in the gaps, but I know you from a few years ago. We met in Santa Fe at an Infinite Possibilities conference where we were both trainers and learning to be trainers. And I was really attracted to your positivity and just what you were doing in the mindset world with financial planning and prosperity at the time. You were really starting your business. And I was like, I got to work with this guy. And then it took me 6 years to actually do so recently as a client. And so I've had the extreme pleasure of working with you as a client to work on my own money mindset. And so I know you as prosperity coach and mindset guru from that perspective. And I'd love for you to tell our listeners more about that, the work that you do. And then I also really want to highlight the fact that you are a speaker, which was something you were terrified to do 6 years ago. And now you've done at a big stage at TEDx. And you've become an author since we met in Santa Fe, and all sorts of magic has happened. So tell us who you are from your perspective and what you do.
Well, most importantly, I'm a proud dad of two beautiful, amazing, courageous, thoughtful, caring daughters, Lauren and Morgan. Lauren is 19 and Morgan is 17. And Lauren's just finishing up freshman year at Syracuse University. Just did her a cappella concert Tuesday night. I got to see it streaming live, which is, I love technology when that can happen, because I couldn't get up there Tuesday night. And Morgan is 11th grade. I have to really say how proud I am of her, because she got a 34 on the ACT, which is like equivalent to like 1540 or 1560 on the SAT. I mean, she's just a really, really intelligent girl / on her way to being a woman. And she told me when she was 6 years old, when I asked her, what do you want to be? She said, Dad, I want to be a baby doctor. And so at least it hasn't changed much. So she's going to be a doctor, probably a pediatrician or maybe a surgeon even. And she's already certified as an EMT. She rides in the ambulance now at 17. And she's going out to California to do a medical research project in just a few weeks after 11th grade ends. So I'm a really proud dad. And my company name, Sal Laura Moore, is named after my daughters, Lauren and Morgan. So that's most important. I do everything for them. And they've taught me unconditional love. And that's most importantly. From having been married, it's not the same kind of love. I just would throw myself in front of a bus for my kids.
Yeah, so, and we share that. We've talked a lot about our kids in our work together too, with daughters and raising them well. And so I really appreciate that you've grounded us there in family and the reason you do what you do.
Yeah, so that's everything. And yeah, so they've taught me unconditional love and everything. Ultimately it's all about love, and we're all one. It's all about, I know we're all one. Hopefully viewers and listeners know that too. We're all in this together. We're all part of the same team, helping each other become better spiritual beings in a human body. So I started my career as an actuary. You may know the difference between an actuary and an accountant. An actuary looks at his feet when he talks to you. An accountant looks at your feet when they talk to you.
Nice.
Yeah, they say an accountant is an actuary with charisma, but I'm not the typical actuary. But you do see the FSA over my head. That's fellow of the Society of Actuaries. I am certified to sign financial statements of insurance companies to this day. But when I was working as an actuary, I had a dream to be a money manager. And it was quote unquote the impossible dream because I had no experience. I just was interested in investing in stocks. And everyone I talked to, all the money managers on Wall Street, when I talked to them as an actuary working at an insurance company, they said, Joel, you have a great job. Why would you want to switch? And in fact, I did. I was making $110,000 at 27 years old, which is equivalent to $400,000 today at 27. Yeah. And the actuary was on the cover of Forbes magazine as the #1 job in the United States in 1992. So when I did call up and say I'm an actuary, they literally were saying, you have the best job. What are you doing? Low stress. You just went through all the exams. Why would you want this? And I said, because it's my dream. So got a ton of rejection. Ton of people said, you can't do this. You have no experience and you don't have the background and you don't have the education. So forget it. And finally, I found the guy who was there, who gave me his path. And so hopefully today, my long road, it took me 15 years, can lead to viewer's shortcut. Mm-hmm. And you'll learn a little bit about how I overcame doubt. That was a big thing because I had a ton of doubt because everyone I talked to gave me doubt. So it gets ingrained in there, into your mindset, into your belief. So now I tell my clients, hashtag doubt the doubt. Hashtag doubt the doubt. Have faith in the dream. Don't have faith in the doubt. Have faith in the dream. And so I didn't the whole time, but it took me 15 years and I became a portfolio manager, a hedge fund manager at Citi in 2008. You may remember 2008 wasn't the best year in the stock market. The market was down 40%. And the financial stocks, the only sector that I was invested in, were down 57%. And I did manage to make some money for Citigroup. And the next year was better. And I might actually still be there today, but a law was passed that said banks can't own hedge funds. And so we were all laid off. Mm-hmm. And that gave me the kick in the butt to start my own company, which was my true dream. Mm-hmm. My true dream was to have my own hedge fund. And I did achieve that dream, raise the money, not easily, but did raise the money in 2013. And again, might still be doing that, except for what I talk about in my TEDx. And if people want to get the whole story, to go watch the TEDx. It's called How to Create Money Miracles. But I shut down my hedge fund to coach because the quick story is I went to a personal development course and there was a guy there who was a guest speaker speaking for 1 hour. And during that 1 hour, he told 200 people in the room how stock options were the way to get rich. He said, you don't need much time. You don't need much money. This is how the rich people get rich. And options are essentially risk-free. And I was sick to my stomach. I had people tap me on the shoulder, whisper in my ear, Joel, does this make sense? Are options really riskless? So after he was done, we went out of the auditorium. I told him, please don't do this. He has no idea about any of you individually, and most importantly, no idea about your belief that you can become rich using options. So I went home that night. I couldn't sleep. It was 4:30 in the morning. It finally hit me, and I realized if I could ever get up the courage to speak on a stage, my biggest fear that day was public speaking. I could be authentic, not lie to people, tell them the truth about money, and be of service. So I jumped out of bed, quickly got dressed. I was at my office in Midtown Manhattan before the sun rose, and I sent an email to my investors telling them I'm giving them their money back. I'm shutting down my fund. I figured out my true purpose in life.
I love that story, and I'm so glad to have discovered you on the other side of it. And so tell me about how you're coaching with people from that perspective now. I know a little bit about it, but I know other people want to know about it.
Most important is mindset, right? A lot of people come to me and they want to be an expert stock investor, or they want to be an expert real estate investor, or they want to get their business to the next level and making significant, consistent revenue stream. But what I tell my clients and prospective clients is the mindset piece is critical, right? We already talked about hashtag doubt the doubt. If you don't have the right mindset, if you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe you're worthy of massive wealth, if you don't believe that your program is worth a large amount of money, which I tell most of my clients, if not all of my clients, I tell them they're underpricing because what they're doing is priceless. I mean, most of my clients are helping people create their dreams, and how that's priceless. And yet they may be charged. There's literally one woman who I'm coaching who is charging $111 for 3 months.
Yeah, we're going to let that sink in for a moment.
Like she's basically charging $9 an hour. $9 an hour. And the reason is because of her belief that she's not worthy of massive wealth. And I've met a ton of people as prospective clients that I talk to who are not charging the appropriate amount. And it comes back to programming or what they heard growing up. You know, the thoughts of, this is how I grew up too. So I know exactly how it is.
Yeah.
You know, I was taught we can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. That's too expensive. You know, you can't be spiritual and rich. You know, those evil rich people. I got screamed at for leaving the light on in my room. Joel, we're not a shareholder of Long Island Lighting Company. Shut that light off. I mean, it was basically all lack and scarcity and worry and fear all the time. And when that's ingrained in you from age 0 to 8, 9, or 10, you're taught things and you don't question them. You don't have the subconscious mind to question these things that are coming in. They're just taught to you, and they're taught, and they become your truths. They're not a belief even. So you have to change your mindset in a lot of ways, because other humans, and, you know, we're doing the best we can, right, with what we have. We're all on our own journey, but other humans are sometimes teaching you things that are not serving you.
Yeah, and this is where we have such overlap in what we work with people, with mindset. We have this nebulous concept of what is mindset, and it's really those layers that you're talking about that build up through the voices in our heads. Sometimes they're voices out loud that are said to us by our parents or other people in our lives, and then we start running the script. And so it's like an operating system of limit and lack and scarcity, which you just really mentioned. And it sounds like you're helping clients hear that script. And then I know you do some helping them reframe it. So tell us about that. How do you help them specifically reframe those beliefs?
Yeah, no, it's critical. And so there's a few ways. One is through affirmations. And what I do differently, and I talk about this in the TEDx talk as well, is to say affirmations that are serving you, not just say anything, because if you don't believe it, this is what's happening. You're maybe saying something and then you're calling BS on yourself, and that's not belief systems.
Right. It's true. Your body goes, no, that's not right. And then you just do the same. You resist it. You do something completely opposite of what you believe. Case in point.
Right. What I teach is how to soften things that you don't believe in. So we rank the level of belief from 1 to 10. And so if I give you a list of 19 different affirmations, and say one of them is, I am financially free. And if your mind is saying, your conscious mind is saying that's BS, that's not true. So you can soften it to, I'm on my way to becoming financially free, or I allow myself to be financially free. So you can soften it, and then your belief level goes up. And as you soften it and say it over and over again over weeks and months, you can make it less soft and less soft. And then maybe in just, a few months or a few years, you can get to, I'm a money magnet. Money comes easily and frequently. Lucrative opportunities are always coming my way. And you can say those affirmations getting you towards, I am financially free. So softening it, knowing your belief level, but also knowing your desire level. If you're saying something that you don't really desire, like there was a woman I met just last week at a networking event who said, I don't care about money. So for her, she has I am a money magnet. That wouldn't be something that she desires. Now we can talk about the reasons why I don't care about money is not serving her and not serving her family and not serving the world later. But the point being, you want to have a high desire level and a high belief level. When you have a belief level of 10 and a desire level of 10, that's called expectation. Mm-hmm. You're expecting it, whatever you affirm, to come in, and then it comes.
Yeah,
right? So
and then because you're out of your way, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So affirmations, I also have free audio files on my website. It's my website, salamour.com, SALAURMOR.com, again, named after my daughters, Lauren and Morgan. So audio files, affirmations, and just putting things into practice, creating habits that you will continue on after you work with me. And what's really still mind-blowing to me is the amount of money manifestations that have happened with my one-on-one coaching clients. We're over $3,100,000 now, awesome. Which is just, and if you would, again, I say this all the time, but if you had told me the ways that the money was going to come in for these clients, I would have said, can't make this stuff. This is just unbelievable. You can't make it up, right? It's such a surprise when, you go to a retreat and, you're there, learning, and then you meet somebody, you happen to tell them about your business in Costa Rica. And then a few weeks later, she signs up to your course coming out of the blue, right? It's like those kinds of things. You really can't make this stuff up. Or the guy who manifested $2 million with one investment in 4 months.
Awesome.
I haven't done that personally, but he did by me coaching him. So
I know. So the fun part of this is, and so when people hear the word affirmations, sometimes and I do it too, it's like, I believe in it. And there's always the skeptic that comes in to go, I don't know. But what you teach and what we both know is you have to do something. You have to invest. You have to take action. You have to go to the networking event. It isn't sitting at home and waiting for money to come. And that's not what we're talking about at all. And so there's very practical action steps that are part of your program that is helping people manifest the money. So we use these words, and I think it's important for people to know what that means. It comes around in health and well-being too. And I want to get to that because we can think about all the things that we would do, could do, might do, should do, all the language we use, and then do nothing. So tell me more about the action pieces that you help people do.
Thank you for that. Really important, because I tell my clients, I don't know any billionaires who sit at home all day and just meditate and visualize. Now, I teach meditation and visualization, but 100%. I take action too. But what it's important to know is it's inspired action. It's not white knuckling it. That's what I did 15, 20 years ago, or most of my life even, is white knuckling it, like trying to move matter massively. And when you're in the flow and you're doing the visualizations and the meditation, you want to take the action because it's inspired action. When I was writing my first book and I knew what I wanted to write, it was 90 days of inspired action. It was the same thing with my second book, right? I knew what I wanted to write and it was inspired action. So when you're in the flow, you're meditating, you're visualizing, you're doing the affirmations, you feel you're vibrating at a higher level, your frequency is higher. And so you want to take action because you know you're being of service to others, you know you're helping other people, and you know by getting out there into the world, money and abundance and prosperity will flow back to you.
Yeah, yeah. And so, you were talking about the person who said, I'm not motivated by money, or it's not my thing. Prosperity is so much bigger than that. And so I use wealth often as well. And so taking action toward the thing that you want to be in service, that is prosperity, right? And
Right.
Abundance. It's that flow back and forth that's really driving that inspired action. And so what I would love for you to just riff on a little bit, I use the terminology mind, body, spirit. And so we're teaching the mind, body, and spirit to integrate. And then I had another layer, and that's surroundings. And so you mentioned we're all one and we belong to one another. Part of that is in that ecosystem of well-being where we are serving each other, and so that's where that flow comes from, is that our mindset, our vibration is higher so that we can just do the thing that will serve our people. And tell me how you think about wealth in that context of well-being, prosperity, wealth. How do you think about that?
Yeah, no, they go hand in hand. Like if you're in terrible health and you have massive amounts of wealth, it's worthless. You can't enjoy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we were talking earlier before we got on that about the 7 millionaire mindset secrets. And one of them is prioritizing your health.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some would say, well, to have a millionaire mindset, you prioritize your health. And I say, absolutely, because you want to be in the best health possible to enjoy the wealth, enjoy that prosperity, and then share it with others as well. So I have a 2-hour morning routine that some may say is much more aligned with health than wealth, but I will say the two go hand in hand. And my morning routine includes meditation, visualization, 100 push-ups and sit-ups, and a 4-mile jog. And then also doing the affirmations and doing journaling and listening to the audio files that I have on my website. So I practice what I preach, and I do all these practices. But some may say, well, those are health practices. And I say, well, I want to have a healthy, vibrant body so that I can enjoy and travel and experience with the 5 senses as long as possible while I'm in this physical body.
Yeah. And so that you can serve and do the fun things and enjoy your life. And it all is tied in that sense of wealth and well-being and prosperity. So you can't really separate yourself from it.
Yeah.
Because there's such scarcity that you can't give if you're in that sphere, so it's right. we got 2 choices, love or fear. Right.
Yeah. I think in the 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use, my second book, I say choose faith or choose fear. Right. And you have that option all day, every day in your investments, in your business, in your personal life. And, it's sad for me to see over the last 3 years, so many people moved more towards fear than towards faith.
Yeah.
And that is creating a lower vibration for you. And actually what's going on globally is a higher vibration. The earth is vibrating at a higher frequency than it ever has before. And the people who are lowering their vibration by operating in fear and worry and scarcity and lack, there's a bigger gap and they're feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's a good point. Mm-hmm.
So how can you choose faith?
So what would you say? Because I know my people pretty well. So the fear and scarcity comes up in money. And then as soon as you say, I have a 4-hour morning routine, its cousin shows up, time, because time and money are always inextricably linked. What would you say to those people is, I don't have time for a 4-hour routine. He's crazy.
Yeah, you don't need to at all. And, do what resonates with you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a unique lifestyle in life. And so, but you don't have to, you can shorten things. And I do say time is an illusion as well. And I say an affirmation for time. I acknowledge I'm the source of time. I'm where time comes from. And that's from a book I read. And I think I told you I read 50 to 70 books a year. So I don't remember which one, but it was a great affirmation. I'm writing that down. I'm adding it to my morning affirmations. And that has helped me. But also it's belief. I know when I'm in the flow, people say, Joel, how did you write 3 books and do a TEDx talk, and you have all these one-on-one clients, you do group coaching and membership, and then you have a course you're teaching, and then you're meeting 15 people as prospective clients every week. How do you do all this? And I say, I'm the creative time. I'm not busy. I got plenty of time.
Oh, thank you. That's my phrase. So that is my meditation. I have plenty of time. And I embody it, or I don't, or not. Right. But I feel it when I don't.
Yeah,
so that's the concept.
Absolutely. And I get on a lot of Zoom calls and I say, how you doing? And they say, I'm really busy. Well, if you're affirming that all day, every day on every call you're on, then you have no time, as opposed to when somebody asks me, how you doing? After they tell me I'm really busy, I say, I got plenty of time. I'm where time comes from. And so I have lots of open space throughout my day, throughout my week, throughout my year, throughout my month, and I'm good. And so it's a mindset. It's just like everything else. It's creating the proper mindset. I have a proper money mindset. So money flows in, frequently and easily. And also what I teach my clients is to celebrate. Mm-hmm. And also everything with grace and ease and fun, but to celebrate the small wins just as much as the big wins. I have a private Facebook group. And in the private Facebook group, people are posting their money manifestations. And I encourage them to post a nickel or a dime or a dollar or a euro or a yen, even though it may appear to be small, quote unquote, monies, because the same energy that creates that dime or that euro creates 10 million of them.
Absolutely. So time, energy, attention, money, mindset. I mean, it's all the same thing.
Yes.
And I love that you said small wins, because it's also the same thing with well-being wins. So when you ask people, how's it been going since last week? They tell you all the things they didn't do. Well, I meant to exercise and I didn't do it. Well, I just exercised for an hour and I was supposed to exercise 3 hours. They'll tell you all the things. And so just helping reframe to, what did you do? Awesome. What did you do? And so you and I have this constant push-pull with my homework. I'll do some of it and not all of it. And I always tell you the things that I don't do. And then you slow me down so that I can pay attention to the things that I did. Like, oh yeah, you're right. I did do that. So we can celebrate it. And so that constant reminder, that's where the coaching is valuable, of like, what did you do to really pause to celebrate?
Exactly. Keeping you accountable, but also everything with grace and ease.
Mm-hmm.
and not white knuckling it, because if you're white knuckling it, that's creating resistance. It's not creating flow. And rule number 6 in the 9 money rules is giving, right? And
surrender.
Giving is critical. And when I actually told this to somebody the first time, the guy said to me, Joel, if I give my money away, I have less money. How does that work? And so I explained to him that money is just energy. And when you put it out into the world, it must flow back to you. And in my life, it's happened so many times in multiples. And I quote Sir John Templeton. Sir John, some say, was the best investor of the 20th century. He started the Templeton mutual funds with just a few $1,000s, friends and family money. And he sold the Templeton funds to the Franklin mutual funds for almost $1 billion in the 1990s. And he said he hadn't met anybody who hadn't given at least 10% of his money each year over a 10-year period, who didn't have massively more wealth at the end of the 10 years than at the beginning.
Yeah, which is where that idea comes from. And it's given from the knowledge that it will come back. Right.
Yeah. But doing it from the heart, I talk about this in that chapter, is not doing it because you feel required to. Like, I go to the supermarket, and at the end, when you're about to pay, it says, and you can give to this. And it doesn't resonate with me. But I have a charity I give to every month, the Food Bank of New York City, for the homeless in New York. And I give a set amount. And if I make more, I top it up. And then I have my own charity to teach kids financial literacy. And so I give to that. So, but giving from a point of view of you want to, not that you're required to, has a completely different feeling attached to it and vibration attached to it.
Absolutely.
And so everything's vibration, and like we've talked about, everything's frequency, everything's energy, right? So if you're saying I have, they ask me, so I have to. No, that is not really giving anyway. It's like a requirement. Whereas if you're doing it from, I'm in Grand Central Station in Manhattan, and I see this woman taking plastic bottles out of the garbage because she wants to get the 5-cent deposit, and so wow, that's really, and she's 70 or 80, and I feel so bad, and I want to, and then you give, right? That kind of giving is so different than somebody coming up to you on the subway in Manhattan and give me some money. It's just a completely different vibration.
Yeah, and you can feel it, and that's where, so you're talking heart and energy and flow. You can feel the difference. And so I use the phrase giving and generosity because generosity is motivated from a different place. And so it's interesting how many parallels that we have in terms of the way we talk about these things in different niches. I'm in the well-being world, but money is so much a part of that. And I call it wealth because people don't get so wigged out about wealth. Sometimes they get less, or sometimes they want to say abundance. I really don't care what the labels they are. They're their labels. Right. It's really fun to look at all of the parallels and help them find their recipe, which is what you're really doing to help us find our recipes. And so I'm interested, I know you have lots on your plate that you have for what's next for your own well-being and whatever's next for you. Tell listeners how they can get connected with you, what's next for you, what's coming.
So the program that you went through is my fast track prosperity coaching program, and it's one-on-one coaching. And the idea is to really significantly increase entrepreneurs' revenue stream so that they're at a much higher level and predictable level, consistent, predictable level of revenues. But also the program creates a different feeling with money. Mm-hmm. And clients have told me at the end, I don't feel the same about money. And I don't think I'm ever going to feel the same about money again. And that's just so gratifying, because that is one of the outcomes I really want people to have, is they come in with a certain feeling, a certain vibration about money, and they end feeling completely different. So that's what I'm focused on, is the one-on-one coaching right now. I have a handful of spots open right now for new clients, but that's the main focus. And people can go to my website, salaurmore.com, SALAURMOR.com, or reach out to me directly, and I'll send you the calendar invite. It's joel@salomore.com.
Yeah. And I can just, from my own perspective in working with you since the beginning of the year, I teach the mindset stuff, and I knew I was in my way about money specifically. And what I have certainly seen the benefit of that consistent income that's come in, but even more importantly, have been able to shift some relationships with my ex-husband that you know about a little bit more deeply, and some conversations within my own family about money. And that has been worth every bit of the revenue is nice, but ultimately it's about the deeper conversations and the deeper relationships that will now be way more possible to move forward. I mean, it is not to be underestimated how powerful this is, to come from a place of love rather than a place of fear and whatever the past was, because the past feels completely different. So if anybody is looking for that sort of deep work, Joel's a great resource. So I appreciate you talking about that. And then what's next for you for fun, for your own well-being? What's coming?
Well, I love to travel. I think I've been to 58 different countries. I'm really excited that Lauren is way ahead of me in terms of, when I was 19, I wasn't traveling much, but I probably instilled the bug in her and Morgan. And so Lauren saw at Syracuse that they had the option to get credits by studying abroad over the summer. So she is taking a month in Florence. And so I'm going to be spending a few days with her, a few days on my own traveling in Italy, just in a couple of months. So I'm really excited about that. So travel's big. And if Mike Dooley does a trip this year, I'll definitely go. And I like to go on his wow tours, because they're wow. They're amazing. And, obviously you get to hear Mike and Andy Dooley speak, but it's also the trip itself is just, it's 5-star all the way, and they love to treat you well. And it's in the 9 Money Rules millionaires use, rule number 3 is, can happiness buy you money? And I say happiness equals reality divided by expectations. And they say what we're going to do, and your expectations are here, and they blow them away with reality. So you're really happy at the end of the trip. So those are a couple of things. I did want to go back to giving for a second.
Sure.
And give the viewers something free, which is, if you're feeling worried at all about money, you have any doubts or scarcity feelings throughout the day, this is a great video. It's called How to Ease Your Money Worries. So if you text to the number 66866 prosperity, I'll give you a free video, how to ease your money worries. So it's text to the number 66866 prosperity.
Yeah. And thank you, Joel, so much for that. And then also just for your generosity with your time, your energy, your money, and all this. The program is amazing. I can't recommend it enough. And I also deeply appreciate spending time with you always. And I'll see you on one of these trips at some point. But for the moment, we'll say goodbye. And I appreciate your time very much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a great pleasure and honor.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.